All right, full moon coming up on October 6th, and it's a full moon in Aries. Let me give you a little tidbit on what's going on. Aries represents the root chakra, and it also represents Mars. It is the first house emergence of self-awareness. So we went from the Libra new moon, which is people pleasing, to Aries, the full moon, which deals with conflict. Now we're going to end up after that going to the new moon in Scorpio. So what's happening is we need to work on our root chakra energy. We need to work on the things that has our root chakra closed down, stuck, or going out of balance, going the other way, counterclockwise. And these are things that give us anxieties, that feed our insecurities, that trigger our fears, that make us feel restlessness when it comes to solving certain things. Now, if we can balance this out, we're going to find more stability. We're going to find more groundedness. We're going to find more security and vitality in our environment. And what I've gained from the past 2 weeks with the cosmos, the universe, and the divine throwing this energy at us is this a time to own our space. I have a wonderful coworker that I just admire so much because she is really, really good at owning her space. Have you ever seen somebody who owns their space and how people will respect it? Ooh, I have. I have. Because they don't leave no room for excuses. They don't leave no room for anybody to inch on their space in a disrespectful way. So, how do you get to that point in your life where you have so much confidence owning your space? Well, you have to go through the conflict that's bringing on the insecurities and the fears that target that root chakra energy. And you have to start to heal that. For myself, it's literally changing up the way I walk, standing taller, standing closer to the things that I'm doing instead of drawing myself back and say overextending my body to barely reach things. No, now I'm standing more close to it because I'm owning my space. If something happens in my space I don't like, I have a right to say something and I have a right to do something. Remember that one. A lot of times we feel like we have to give our personal power and our personal space over to people, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's coworkers, whether it's bosses. And see, that's what gets our anxieties going. And that's what makes us not feel like we have stability for those areas in our life or even where we're at those moments. So being able to heal that root chakra energy is a really big one right now. How do you own your space when people are trying to come into it? Is you set these boundaries and you don't give people options. And that's hard when you're a people pleaser because you always want to kind of help somebody out. But you have to know when somebody is not respecting your time, your energy, and your focus. And you need to pump the brakes. And you need to own your space, you need to own your time, and you need to own your energy by standing up for yourself. What you're going to do, what you're not going to do. So, a little example I'll give you is with Instagram. I'm no longer on Instagram because I no longer believe in supporting Mark Zuckerberg. Now, I have found myself, and like many other women, men, and minors, I found myself having to ignore stuff almost on the daily, weekly when it comes to that app. Things that are supposed to be kind of normal to look away from. And I really just don't appreciate a side to Instagram. My personal opinion is that it's an app that has backdoors for sex trafficking and grooming of minors. It's just because of some of the stuff I've seen. I've had to report accounts that would go into my messages and would offer explicit things with minors. I didn't like that. I've also seen stuff with minors that I've tried to report and wasn't taken serious. And it kind of got to the point is no matter if I was commenting on somebody's stuff, if I had my story going or if I had a post going, no matter what, there was some kind of sex bot always coming in and wanting to advertise stuff. And one day, the other day, I went to go see what is on this story for this bot that wanted to go on to one of my comments. And I was astonished at the video that was allowed to be uploaded onto that platform because they have editors with this company, Instagram, Mark Zuckerberg has people who are supposed to see everything before it gets posted up. And like I said, I can't believe some of the stuff I've seen, and that was approved by these editors with this company to be originally posted. And the whole thing is, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of looking the other way, and I'm tired of this being brought into my space. My space, not the app, but I'm talking about where I live because I don't surround myself with this type of stuff in my world outside of the Instagram matrix. So, because I don't do that, and again, I'm tired of it being brought into my living space via my phone. I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that this stuff isn't going on and ignore that this stuff isn't going on just so that the owner of this app can get more of my time, my energy, and my focus. Because I recognize that those things are my most precious things that I can offer to a person, to a place, to whatever. So I chose to take down both of my accounts, my personal account and my account for Soul Tigress Tarot, because I want to own my space, and what's happening on that app is something that I no longer can ignore, and I'm no longer going to accept in my space, no matter how much everyone else in society is ignoring it and pretending that it's normal. It's not normal. That space is a public space and it should be treated accordingly. But those are my beliefs. My beliefs. But the whole thing is, I'm not going to follow everybody. They say, would you follow the crowd if everybody started jumping off a bridge? Hell no, I'm not going to start doing that. I am my own person. But the whole thing is, I came into this new awareness where I was going to confront the conflict that I was feeling when dealing with this app and some of the stuff I was seeing on this app. And I chose to bring stability, groundedness, and security to myself by saying this is no longer acceptable in my space, in my area, in my home, on my phone, etc. And since then, my vitality, my energy, my mind has been different because I'm not being exposed to stuff that I don't appreciate. So sometimes it's hard when you go off onto these things where you need to own your space because you're going to have to confront the things that bring conflict to you. Yes, is what I'm doing not popular? It's totally not popular. But do I give two shits? Hell no, because my sanity is my sanity. My time, my energy, my focus is all mine, and I choose how I dispense that. And again, owning your space, knowing that you have the choice to what you allow in and what you allow to be around you is a right. And sometimes when we're not taught that, it's something that we struggle with when it comes to relationships with others. Just know that it is totally human to start from ground zero when you start to learn from something new. There isn't an expiration date when it comes to you learning, say, how to own your space, how to heal your root chakra. I'm almost 40 and I'm still learning this, but guess what? I am still evolving. And guess what? We are always right on time. Whew. So just know it's not just you, it's not just people targeting you. A lot of a lot of times, excuse me, we are being tested. We are being tested because we have asked for certain things in our lives. And the divine wants us to get there, but the divine needs us to put in work. So, how can we start to heal that root chakra? Again, to bring more stability, groundedness, security, vitality, and owning our space. Alrighty, I hope y'all enjoy this and have a most wonderful rest of your day.